Good morning, Miami. Welcome to the Women to Women show. I'm your host, Cristina Hernandez, and with me here today is Carolina Castillo. Thanks for being here with me.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be in the studio.
Yes.
Instead of virtual.
I know. This is a great example of how people meet virtually through social media connections. And when we met, it was like now in person, it was like this is our first in-person meeting. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Carolina is very well known here in Miami. Politically, you're an entrepreneur. But today we're going to be talking about something that she reached out to me, and we've talked about this before, about the new abortion law that just passed in Texas. And
before we go into that, I'd love to introduce myself to your audience.
Let's do that.
And definitely wish everyone a happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes.
It's I was born in Colombia. I'm half Spaniard, half Colombian. And so this is a big month for us. And I was raised in Miami. You're Cuban.
My parents are Cuban, born and raised in Houston, Texas.
Yeah. So it's a big month for us and celebrate, all the achievements Hispanics have made in the United States. I'm also an advocate for women. I'm an advocate for children, voting rights, LGBTQ, climate change, racial injustice, and very big thing, which we'll probably get into it today, is I abhor communism.
Yeah.
150%. I'm the founder of Source Lawyer Relations, which is a PR marketing firm that represents lawyers and small businesses and nonprofits and politicians. I have my notes because I don't want to forget anything.
That's
I belong
awesome.
to organizations like Rootless Florida, League of Women Voters. I was the president in 2018 of the Women's Chamber of Commerce of Miami-Dade County. And this is all very important because this is the topic we're doing today, which is women's issues, okay? That's why I'm taking a little longer than normal on my introduction.
No, I like it.
In 2020, I also helped with Danielle Levin Cava's campaign, mayoral campaign, which she's now the first women mayor of Miami-Dade County, made history, right? And in 2020, I was always also a women's constituency director for Florida for All, getting out the vote for women. And the way that I met you was I was a co-host of Miami View Women.
Yes.
And we did it virtually.
Yes.
And so I feel today like I know you. We've been talking for so long.
Yes.
That when I hugged you today, I was like, oh my God, I have her in person. It's just wild what virtual and Zoom has, StreamYard have really done to us because it became normal.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy to be here. Sorry, I took a little long on that, but
no.
It's important. It's
Can
important
I say,
to know
all the things you talked about, I am nowhere as accomplished as you are.
No, don't say that.
But I just want to say, I am vested in our community and wanting to educate myself in what's happening in our world and our politics. I am not an expert in anything. We all have our own personal views, but hearing people that are committed and passionate about these issues is why we're here today and why we've been able to just have such great dialogue.
Yes. And the Texas abortion ban is no joke. So what I think this is not about Republicans. This is not about Democrats. This is about women's rights. This is about human rights. And across the board, I know a lot of Republican women in Miami who are pro-choice, though they're Republicans. So this is about women, women uniting, and women really speaking out against this Texas abortion ban.
And while most people are pro-life for themselves, feel like they're not going to impose those views on other people, that all of us have a right to choose for our own self what is right for yourself.
Well, listen, I just want to go through the facts first.
Let's do it.
And then we can get into, our opinions and how we feel and even our personal stories.
Totally.
So on May 19th, the governor of Texas signed into law one of the most, for me, radical extremist abortion bans in the United States. The SB 8 went into effect on September 1st. That was 3 weeks ago. It bans any and all abortions after 6 weeks, where most women don't even know they are pregnant.
Like they're just figuring it out.
And the worst part about all of this is that there is no exception for rape or incest. Ultimately, rapists have more rights than women under this law. Totally. This is the truth. These are facts. This is not something that we're coming up
and not an opinion.
With. It's a radical law that I feel is being brought forth to change. So like for the Supreme Court to kind of hold it up so we can go into Roe versus Wade. So we can go into the discussion of Roe versus Wade. So the Supreme Court actually blocked it. They blocked, in other words, they didn't want to take it up.
They didn't want to talk about it.
They didn't want to take it up. Though they said it was unconstitutional. They didn't want to take it up. So leaving the 6-week abortion ban on the books. So it's horrifying. Not only that, but I always say the worst part of this law is also empowers private citizens to enforce the law through lawsuits. So in essence, we have snitches, which is like in Cuban America, right? In Cuba, you have snitches.
Yeah. And
Communist
all these countries
Cuba,
have
snitches, right? So
that's it.
So we're looking at this Texas ban like almost kind of like a dictatorship on our rights, on women's rights, is how I'm looking at it.
To me, that is the biggest irony of it all.
It is ironic.
That they call Democrats, by the way, I mean, do I want to get into what, if
you want.
I was a registered Republican, but I'm not. I've been an independent probably more than 10 years now, because while I do find myself fiscally more on a conservative side, socially not, and I feel kind of politically homeless.
Which we've talked about so much, right?
Because of this main issue, because I just don't ascribe to either one of them totally.
Well, because we're looking at very radical laws, right? So I've been a Democrat for 28 years, registered Democrat for 28 years. However, I don't ascribe to the very radical left and very radical right. I'm literally the most moderate, not when it comes to social issues, because I do believe in, social justice and climate change and LGBTQ rights and women's rights, right? But when it comes to things like Afghanistan, things like fiscal, like the economy, I'm very moderate. And this is no joke, right? So this, like I said before, this isn't a Republican Democratic issue. This is a women's health issue and making our own decisions. And so just like, the Roe versus Wade was enacted 48 years ago on January 22nd, 1973. That's before I was born. Okay. So I've been under Roe versus Wade since I was born. This to me is radical. It feels radical. It's kind of like you're looking at Afghanistan and you're looking at these women who tasted freedom for 20 years, who went to school, who went to work. And now the Taliban took over. And now they're being told, you can't go to school, you cannot work. These women are marching and they're getting beaten up. They're getting tortured, right? And they're in hiding. So it's obviously not the same, the United States as Afghanistan. However, it is the same feeling.
Because I feel attacked.
I'm being attacked as well, right? So whether you're Republican or independent or unregistered or Democrat or Republican, we must unite as women. And that's why I'm here. Yeah. Right? That's why I'm here. Because we have the left and the right being so radical, and we have them, their voices are so strong. Where is the moderates? Where are the moderate women? Where are where's the middle ground to this?
Where's the middle ground?
Right?
Everything has gone to the extreme.
To the extreme. And I feel that the middle ground is getting drowned out by these very radical extremist voices in the United States. So why are we talking about this today? Well, because Governor Ron DeSantis is looking into the Texas ban, abortion
and implementing it here in Florida.
So there's a sense of urgency that we need to talk about as women. There's a sense of urgency that we need to unite as women, and even the men who support the women with the pro-choice. So as you were saying before, I don't believe in abortion.
Right.
I've never had an abortion. I do have a daughter that I am here to represent, that I am here to fend for our new generation of leaders, right? The thing that's being attacked is the choice, is the women's rights. We're not here to say, get an abortion. We're not here to promote abortion. We're here to defend women's rights from these radical laws.
And by the way, I don't disagree like that there should be some sort of limit in abortion, like no 8 months, 9 months, but 6 weeks.
Well, that's where you and I differ. So Mississippi is coming out with a 15-week abortion ban, and they're in the middle of that. And I am with Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
You know, it's my choice.
Yes, I agree. At the end of the day,
my body. And if I'm my daughter's mother, I want to be able to be part of that conversation. Of course, I don't have to be because that is her choice. But it's between your doctor, it's between you, it's between your family, it's whoever is your support group, if you have a support group, because at the end of the day, these abortion bans affect the most vulnerable of women, the poorest of women. Yeah. Because when you have money, when you're rich, you're going to get an abortion. Yeah. No matter what. Totally. It doesn't matter. It affects the poor. So this affects the poorest of women. And that's why we're here. Because we have to advocate for ourselves and for each other and for future generations. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So what else did you have in mind?
I wanted to talk kind of also about Planned Parenthood. I feel like there's such an attack on Planned Parenthood. And I just like also when I went to college and I wanted to start taking birth control pills. I wasn't calling my mom saying, hey, Mom, I want to start taking birth control pills. Guess where I went? I went to Planned Parenthood. Somebody, the women there couldn't have been nicer. No one talked about abortions there. A gynecologist saw me. I was, given my pap smear. That's what happens as women. And I was given birth control pills. And I don't see anything wrong with that. And thank God that they were there to be a resource for these young women trying to navigate becoming a woman, becoming independent, making decisions for themselves. The place was clean. They were welcoming. Any attack on them just seems like anybody that's been in college and has been able to use Planned Parenthood as a resource can say they are amazing group of people, and thank God,
thank God they exist.
Thank God they exist.
Because at the end of the day, it's like women's health.
Exactly.
They advocate for women's health, and now through the Affordable Care Act, the access is so much greater because if you are under the Affordable Care Act, you don't have to do a copay. Right. It is free under the insurance. Yes. And they just give you access to education. They speak with you, they educate you, because I was on the same boat as you were. I didn't have insurance. I was 18, 19, 20. Yeah. And I went to Planned Parenthood because I wanted a dialogue. Yeah. And they educate you, they give you pamphlets, they give you, just all this information. They I feel like they really support you. They do. In regards to contraceptives, birth control, which is so important, because instead of doing abortion bans, which is going to affect women and it's going to kill many women, because women are still going to get abortions, and except they're not going to be safe, provide more, contraceptives, more birth control, more education. Yeah. That's where we should really be talking about, instead of banning anything.
To me, the irony is just like the Republicans are so for free markets, not imposing the mask mandate. That's a whole nother.
Let's talk about that, right? So let's talk about that. So I feel masks are non-invasive, right? Yeah. It's just like putting on a jacket, we've gotten used to it because we're under a historic pandemic.
Yeah.
This is not a normal time for us, right?
Right.
So when they say my body, my choice for masks, this is freedom. I live in a free country. It's my body, my choice. I'm not going to wear a mask, but then is it your body, but my choice?
Yeah.
And you get to tell me what I'm going to do with my body.
Right.
And talk about invasive. We're talking about, my uterus, for God's sakes, my choice, my health.
Oh, and then when you have the baby, you're on your own. We're not going to give it any health care, give you, we want you to have your baby, but afterwards.
I mean, we have a lot of these men, and listen, I do appreciate the men in the room, not literally, but the men in the room who are supporting women, who are going to go to these marches on October 2nd and stand by women and say, this is their choice. This is their body. This is a women's rights violation, But let's talk about the men who are talking like our bodies are host bodies.
Yeah. It's like watching The Handmaid's Tale.
What is that?
What is this?
What is that? And men protecting men to rape, pretty much. That's what you're doing. So we've gotten to a point where it has become so radicalized that if women don't unite and if we don't speak and advocate for each other and speak for ourselves, we're going to be drowned out. We're going to be drowned out by the extreme, right? And so it's important. So I'm just happy that we're having this conversation today.
Let's talk about when the marches are going to happen.
Yes. So the marches are going to be, and I think that we have a graphic, right?
Yes. Well, we put them in the comments.
Okay.
So we're putting the march information in the comments. Can I see the comments, Michael, or is it possible?
So it's on October 2nd. There's one in Palmetto Bay that starts at 2 p.m.
Right.
And go into the comments so you can have all the information there. And the other one is in Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
And that one starts at 3 o'clock. It's from 3 to 6. So March 2nd, you have Palmetto Bay or you have Fort Lauderdale to march. Also, very important, is voting.
Yeah.
Vote for, I've become very open in regards and very moderate.
Yeah, me too.
And because of these radical, I am sticking in the middle. So I would vote whether you're Republican or you're a Democratic woman who has a track record of women's rights, pro-choice. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat, as long as you are standing by women's rights, by pro-choice. And we really need more women voices in politics, in office, both local, state, and federal. So that's another thing. We really, do the research, become an informed voter. It's so important to really understand where these candidates stand, their stances. Research them. Don't just go by the news or by their campaigns. Do the research and really understand who you're voting for and who you're even, let's say there's this very Republican conservative woman against I go for the man. If he's a pro-choice man and he's, sometimes that does happen.
Yeah.
The best thing is, yes, women need to be more in government. However, you have to do your research.
Yeah.
You have to.
I also think it's kind of funny. Something that popped in my head is some of the most vocal people against that are, so pro-life are the people that fall from grace and are just.
So I have some statistics that are they here? I have all my little notes because we don't work with teleprompters here. So I brought all my statistics so we don't leave anything off the table. Okay. So it says here, pro-choice, the general population for pro-choice, 60%. So in other words, the general population in the United States is 60% pro-choice, 40% against it. Under Republicans, 35% are pro-choice. 35% are pro-choice under Republicans, 65% are no. And under Democrats, there's this big jump to 80% yes and 20% no. Do we know Republican women I know a Republican,
Yeah.
former Republican woman plus other friends that in Miami are pro-choice. But guess what? Their voices aren't loud enough, right? Because of their party or because of their friends, or they might have any, fear. But at the end of the day, when you are in that ballot box, it's just you and the ballot. It's just you and the ballot, and it's your time. And just be educated, and do the research.
100%. That's what we're asking everyone to do. Get involved, know what's happening. This, like, as outraged, or maybe as you can be towards Texas, it can happen here in Florida as well.
Absolutely.
And it's really on all of us to come together. We're stronger together than alone.
Absolutely.
And express your views. Let it be heard. Send a letter to your state representatives. We have put in our comments as well a letter that you can use from Planned Parenthood to kind of guide you. We've put all the candidates to send your state representatives because this is happening statewide. To reach out to your state representatives, send them a letter. You can modify it, but use that letter to guide you.
And the legislation starts in January. So this is when all of these decisions and all of these conversations and Governor Ron DeSantis and all of that, when all of this in Florida is going to start taking place. When people are going to be starting to talk about abortion bans. They're already talking about it, but it really begins in January. So you can start doing the research, start, reaching out to your state senators, to your Congress and representatives, and really just make your voice heard. You don't have to march, but we do have to be together on this and just for our future generations.
Women supporting women.
Exactly. So
empowered women. Empowered women empower women.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
And so, you can reach out to me. I'll leave my email in the comments as well. And you can ask me how to get involved, what organizations to get involved. Rootsless Florida and League of Women Voters are just two of many organizations that you can get involved. So
yeah, you're a plethora of information. You have your facts.
I try to be a resource. I really do. So, don't be shy. Reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to guide you.
Thank you. So that's what we wanted to talk about with you today. We'd love to hear your opinions and thoughts on this whole topic. To me, it's still like, when I just think about it, 6 weeks.
Well, it's outrageous. It's outrageous because it's radical, right? It's an extreme law. It's the most extreme abortion law in the
to
United
me,
States.
it's just like you always hear, I sit in the middle. You always hear Republicans calling the Democrats communist. And to me, this law
is like a dictatorship.
It is. I mean, I feel like they're handing the Democrats like an election in a silver platter. I heard that now Beto O'Rourke is going
he's thinking of running for governor, right? So better O'Rourke than Abbott, that's for sure. And listen, that's the way I vote normally. It's like I don't love the candidates because I don't agree with them on everything. But I say, okay, which is better for, for
because this is an extreme law that was just passed.
That man has to go. Yeah. He has to go. So Beto O'Rourke, here we come. We're going to support you.
Yeah. Texas, we are with you, Texas women, and we're watching, and we're an informed group of people, and hopefully the same thing is not going to happen here in Florida, at least not.
We're going to fight.
Yeah. And we hope you join us in the conversation. And we look forward to seeing you again, Miami, next week at this time slot. Is there anything else we want to touch on before we finish today?
No, I think this is good.
This was a good start.
Because I'll be back.
Yes, we're going to see more of Carolina. We're going to be having these women topics once a month or maybe twice a month. But you're going to see her again next month. And so please be a part of our conversation. And we'll see you again, Miami.
Next month for Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
It's a big deal. October 11th.
Yes.
I'll be here.
Great.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. And thanks for watching Miami. Our hashtag here is That's Community. And you know what? Before we go, I love to ask fire questions. I didn't prepare you for this. But this is like
Jesus.
just off the cuff.
Okay, go.
So do you have a favorite? We like to support local, businesses here. And we learn by sharing.
Okay.
So do you have a local restaurant that you want to give a shout out to?
I have to tell you. I have to tell you, I love Cuban food. I love Cuban food. I grew up in Miami, and my favorite is Sergio's. I have to tell you, it is my favorite. I feel at home there. The one on Coral Way.
That's the one I go to too.
I feel so at home. They already know me. They know my daughter. They know us so well. Because whenever I don't want to cook, I'm like, ay, vamos para allá. Vamos
I
a
love
comer
their ceviche in the flaca menu. I love their ceviche. I love everything there.
That was a surprise, but no, I just feel at home there.
Yeah.
And their food is so good.
That's a good shout out. Shout out to Sergio's. All the ones, especially the one on Coral Way, because that one's by my house too.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Then we're going to meet there for coffee.
Do you have a podcast that you like to listen to? Maybe you haven't listened to one lately.
I don't.
No.
Nope.
Book?
Not at the top of my head.
What about Best Kept Secret in Miami? This is my favorite one.
Best Kept Secret in Miami. Let me tell you, when I go to El Farito, there
the one on
El Farito on Biscayne,
yes,
and Brickell Key.
Oh no,
not Brickell Key. I'm sorry,
Key Biscayne.
Key Biscayne. They have this little tiny restaurant con una ventanita.
Yes,
I think that's the best kept secret.
It is,
and I go there all the time with my grandmother. She's 97. She's so cute, and my mother, and nobody knows us there, and it's the best. Now everyone's going to go there, but it really is the best.
That is a very good
you're
kept
outdoors.
Secret. Yes.
You feel safe. You're enjoying, just the breeze and your community, and it's just, I love it.
You have to enter Bill Baggs Park, so you go through Key Biscayne, you go to the very end, and then there's like a little restaurant there off to the right. That's the one you're talking about?
No, I'm talking to all the way at the end.
Oh, by the
Lighthouse, I think.
But, I don't even know that one.
See, where donde están todas las bicicletas.
Yeah. Okay.
I know. I gave my secret away. My mom's gonna kill me, but really, it is the best.
I love it. Our hashtag is That's Community, and this subject is also about community. And we hope to see you next week. Bye, Miami. Thanks, Carolina.
Bye. Thanks again for having me.
Bye.